Alrighty, guys. I thought today, instead of a Q&A, I would show you all how to use my Fitness Pal efficiently and effectively. Now, by now, we should all be aware that if we want to lose weight, ideally fat, then we need to be in a calorie deficit. And the best way to make sure that you're in a calorie deficit is by using a food tracking app such as MyFitnessPal. Now, it's not something you have to do. Some people will achieve fat loss by improving the quality of food they're eating and moving more. What's happened there is they've happened to fluke it and get themselves into a calorie deficit. But I think you guys are putting in the hard work. You're determined. Why not do it properly? Why not ensure that you're in a calorie deficit every day of the week and get the results you deserve a lot faster? So some of the complaints I get about an app like this is that it's hard to use. They don't have the time. Now, like everything, you're only finding it hard to use and time consuming because you haven't looked into how to set it up and effectively use it on a daily basis, which is what I want to do with you today. First thing you need to do, obviously, is download the app. It is free. And then you are going to open the app. It's going to ask you a whole heap of questions about your weight, height, date of birth. Follow those prompts through. The only reason it's asking you these questions, for example, how much weight do you want to lose and how quickly, is because it's trying to determine your daily calorie intake along with the macronutrient breakdown. But you guys all have that. We've worked that out using our carb cycling method, so don't get too caught up on it. We're going to change it anyway, and I'm going to show you how. So obviously, I'm using a laptop. You guys will most likely be using your phone. What we want to do is go to, we'll go home first. We want to go to goals, okay? So you guys are going to have the three bar line tab either on the left or right hand side. You're going to click on that. You're going to go to goals, and then you're going to go to calorie and macronutrient. We're going to edit these. So what I want you to do is enter in your low carb calories. So we're going to edit that there. And then once you've got that in, you're going to play around with the percentages until you get your protein and fat as close as possible. Now, because we worked your protein goal out using your body weight in pounds, it's going to be slightly off. So again, most important macronutrients to get close to is your protein and your fats. Get them as close as possible, and then we'll make the rest up with your carbohydrates. Now, some of you are going to say, all right, well, I've got a low carb and a high carb day. How do I work that out? One, you can go across and download the premium. It's $12.50 a month, which allows you to set different targets on different days. I preferably just have mine set to my low carb day, and then I've got my high carb numbers in my notes on my phone, and I know them pretty well off by heart now, so when I do come to that high carb day, I know I can push past those limits and by how much. Perfect. We've set that up. Then we want to go to food. All right, so every day you're going to come in and you're going to add your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and any snacks you've had. Hopefully by now most of us are meal prepping, but for those that aren't, it allows you to sort of enter your breakfast and then go, okay, I've got to get lunch, and we can come down the bottom here and go, okay, my total calorie, carb, fat goals are this. I've consumed this. This is what's left. And you can start to make your meals up based off that. What we do is we go add food. Now, as you're going to see, I've got a whole heap of food in a database stored below. So I've been doing this for a while now, and when you enter something, it stays in there for good. All right, and all I would have to do is check the boxes. All right, hit add, and that's going to add it to my daily diary. For those of you that are starting new, on the app there is a barcode scanner. So if anything has a barcode, you can scan it and it automatically uploads it, and then you just decide on the serving. So whether you've had 1 servings, 2 servings, whatever it may be. For the rest of things that you may get from Woolworths that don't, or Coles that don't have a barcode on them, all I usually do is put Coles or Woolworths in front of it. So we're talking deli meat, we're talking fruit and veg. They're the main ones that you're not going to find. So let's say, for example, I had a ham sandwich. I would put Coles ham, search it, and then look for the one that I've got. So I got some champagne leg ham today, 100 grams. So, this is where weighing becomes a tool that you should be doing as well. So we want to make sure that we are getting close to the serving size that we're adding. So we want to make sure we weigh out 100 grams if that's what we're having today, whichever meal we want it to go to, and we add it to the diary. Whenever I'm measuring my food, I'm thinking, if I was away on holidays or if I was at work and I didn't have scales with me, could I eye that? We want to get better at eyeing it, because then, we don't have to measure it for the rest of our lives. We just get a good idea of what 100 grams of ham looks like. All right, so I might just add that in just for the sake of it. And then alongside of that, I may have had some, a Pink Lady, I think that's what they're called, Pink Lady apple, and it's a medium. All right, I click on it, and we'll add it in there. So you can start to see now, it breaks it down. Already for breakfast, I've had 159 calories, 20 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fat, 15 grams of protein. And if we go down the bottom, that starts to become subtracted off our total daily calorie and macronutrient goals. All right. Some things you're going to find either aren't in my FitnessPal database or possibly don't even have a barcode. Everything should have or must have a nutritional label. So with those ones, what we want to do is we want to go to My Foods. All right, so let's say, for example, you guys are ordering from a meal prep company, and that meal prep company either is new and isn't on My FitnessPal, or they don't have a barcode. What we want to do is we want to go create our own food. All right, so, I've made one up. It's My Muscle Meals. It's a chicken and rice. I know in that packet, it says on the back, it's 1 serving size, okay? And there's 1 serving per container. All right, say it's a bigger portion meal and it serves 4. It serves 4. You'd go, I'm only having 1 of them, but it does serve 4. Because what you want to do is the nutrition label off the back is often going to give you the whole serving of the whole 4 servings. So for 1 serving, it might be 350 calories. We 100% want to add in the fat. If we can, we want to add in the saturated and the trans as well. We want to definitely add in the carbohydrates. Let's say it's got 48. And we want to make sure we put in how much of that is fiber, how much of that is sugars, and then we add in our protein level as well. All right, and we click save. Okay, that's forever then going to be in your database. So don't freak out if you think, I've got this meal, I've found it at, it's a YouFoods one, I found it at IGA, it doesn't have the barcode, I can't scan it, do I have to try and add each ingredient? No, you just look at the nutritional panel. So these are some ones I've had to do before. So Chef Express and MMC Steak and Potato, they were pre-made meals that I've bought from a supermarket that weren't in my FitnessPal. So when we go back to adding our food, it's in that list, My Foods, okay, and I just add it in. All right, let's say, for example, you do your food shopping on Sunday and you're meal prepping and you're making like a spaghetti bolognese. All right, so you've got a 500 gram container of mince. You've got, a packet of pasta, which is 300 grams. You've got a bottle of sauce. You're like, all right, how do I make this? How do I add it into my diary? What we want to do is create a recipe. It's really easy to do. And we go over to enter new recipe. All right, so let's say we're making bolognese. It's probably not how it's spelled. We go add ingredients. So I'll go Coles mince. Beautiful. So I got the regular one. Okay. We know I got a 500 gram container. So we've got 5 servings. And we add it in. So it tells you the total calories across, and I've put that up the top, number of servings. It's 5, okay? So that's either going to feed your family for dinner, or for me, that's 1 serving from Monday to Friday, okay? So the total calories of the whole meal is, I've got to get rid of that chicken breast. Total calories for the whole meal so far is 1,000. All right, but if we look at it per serving, it's 217. So it divides everything up for you, calculates it into a serving size. So you literally just have to scan the mince container, scan the sauce container, scan the pasta container, enter all the bulk ingredients in, and then divide it by how many serves you want, and MyFitnessPal does everything for you. So if we go back to my food, I go add food, and I can go to my recipes. All right, they're the muffins that I made and keep posting in the group. A chow mein mince I've made, herb crusted chicken breast schnitzel. All I do is on a Sunday, I get those bulk ingredients added in, and then it's saved there forever. Okay, and it's not something I have to regularly add. So let's say I add my muffins in. Beautiful. Right, so what I can do now, so I don't have to go through and check every box individually. If I know I'm having this every day for the next 5 days, I can I go to Quick Tools and go Remember Meal. All right, and what it's going to do is going to pull up those 3 foods that I've eaten, and I'm going to save it. And it could be, for argument's sake, because we're doing low carb cycling, it could be low carb breakfast. Right, I might save that one. It might have been a high carb breakfast. I might save that one. Then when I go the next day, right, I can go add breakfast and I can go to my meals. All right, so breakfast from September, a bakery roll I made, barbecue pork and brown rice I made. Your meal would be saved in there and it would be saved as low carb and you just add it. Rather than going, okay, I had the muffins, I had the gravy, I had a true protein shake, I had a banana, and going through and checking all those boxes. So this is really beneficial for all those people that are meal prepping and have set their week out in advance. The good thing about that as well, guys, is as on a Sunday, right, as I'm making my recipes and my meals, I can add it in on the day and see what that looks like, so I know if I'm close to my goals for the week ahead. All right. So as you can see, tracking your food really isn't that hard. Getting started and getting set up, scanning and adding the foods in. But if you're like me and you have your favorite foods, you use them quite regularly, it's actually quite simple. And what it does is it ensures discipline and consistency every day, right? And making me aware that I'm in a calorie deficit. right? So let's say, for example, one of those days I got to lunch and someone asked me to go out for dinner. I can look at my total daily goal and what's remaining, and I go, okay, well, I've got 40 grams of carbs, I've got 20 grams of protein, and I've got about 15 grams of fat. So I could probably have a steak. I could probably have, some baked potato or mashed potato. It's probably going to have some butter in it. So there's the 15 grams, and I could probably have a little bit of sauce. You become aware, and you're allowed to then go out and enjoy a meal out with friends and make sure that you're still doing the right thing and not going overboard, and you're staying within that calorie deficit. It's really not hard to use. I hope you guys give it a shot. If you have any questions about it, please comment below. All the best, guys.